for me.
Whoa, we're recording.
Oh, you didn't do it. You didn't do the posing. Oh. Yeah, party.
I just thought I'd frighten everybody this time. Welcome, viewer. Thank you, people, for turning up. Whether you're eating soup or doing anything else, thank you very much for coming, looking, reading, watching, or whatever it is you're doing. Welcome to this version of Why Don't You? So this one is Why Don't You Keep 'Em, Part 2. We had some stuff going on last time. Just so you know, and just so I remember to put it in my diary, why don't you next time... Come on. Ian, when was it?
It was
6 p.m.
later on, 6 o'clock on a Monday. Or was it a Tuesday? I can't remember. It's in my diary. I get a notification 24 hours before.
Yeah. You just get that. Yeah. Does Terry send you a message? I've got to look at my diary.
No, Google does. It's in my calendar. So Google sends me a nice list of things I'm supposed to do.
Excellent. So I'm just looking at mine. So it's Tuesday.
That's right.
No,
Monday. It's not the Wednesday.
It's the Monday. My God,
Monday.
it's rubbish.
Oh yeah. Well,
but we turn up on time.
Monday the 9th at 6 p.m. ish. I must say that because I'm governed.
Very unreliable.
Or sometimes people get sick and they don't come at all. Anyway, thank you. Welcome. So why don't you keep them part 2? Just a quick recap, because and I haven't got everything written down, but some of the things we discussed last time. Why don't you keep them? And sometimes we can't keep them. And Ian started us off with this one. I threw a bus at him. Never mind letting it run him over. Because it isn't working, and professionally you can't keep them if it's not going to work, and there's just sort of uncomfortable things going on. Sometimes we need to contract, so that came out. That's not the same as your T's and C's. It's about contracting, so we may go into that in more detail, but I won't tell Terry about that because otherwise he has warning, and I hate that. We also mentioned about the pressure and rechange. And I think I brought that one up about being test focused, and it changes the environment and it changes how people are with us. And sometimes they bin us, which we have less control over, but they bin us, the parent pressure. Sometimes we're smelly, but don't talk about Ian that way because he doesn't like it either. Sometimes they're just not enjoying the lesson, so they bin us as well. And sometimes they don't feel like they're making enough progress, so they get frustrated. Sometimes, and this is a thing about the money, sometimes the issue is that they have different personal priorities. And of course, a lot of us do that. We have our priorities. So Ian may be interested in buying that special offer on a bottle of PT whiskey, and it's on offer and he can't resist, but he'll have his priorities. So the dogs don't eat. But Ian has his
dodgy ground, that one.
Well, I had to come up with something, seeing as I'd started it before I thought it through. So sometimes people have different priorities, and they need to buy the tattoo. So they don't. See, I remembered. People need to buy their tattoo, and that's why they
need to experience that hangover.
Yeah. What a PT hangover.
Well, PT, non-PT.
Anyway, so part 2. Which of you would like the bus?
I think Terry.
Yeah, Terry, go.
He arrived late.
Yeah, Terry.
God's sake. I was not late. I'm like Gandalf. I arrived exactly when I was meant to.
Late. We don't think you were meant to arrive late. What have you got for us?
What are you throwing me under the bus for now?
Well, where were we carrying on from?
You see, you're assuming I remember 2 weeks ago.
Well, just giving you a recap of some of the stuff we were doing.
What's
Now,
on your list that we didn't cover?
I've written shouting. So, who's had people come to them because they felt that their ADI was
Had a PDI today? Tell me. Listen to this. Listen to this from a PDI trainer. New PDI started today. Passed the part one. Had a few sessions with another trainer further north. I won't mention the town. And she said, she used to shout at me. Not shout, but raise her voice at me if I did something wrong. And get this, she said, I was pulling out of a side road once, or on the last session, and I went, it was perfectly safe to go. And she shouted at her, said, why did you decide to go then? You almost killed me. Are you going to be the one to tell my 6-year-old girl my mummy's not coming home? Come on. It's meant to be a PDI trainer. No wonder she got binned. Anyway, sorry.
But that's the thing, and we do hear it. So it's not just learner drivers binning their instructors or us binning them.
Yeah.
Also the PDI trainers, and we know it, and we're not going to go into it too much. But that kind of.
Well, is it? I think it's relevant. I think it's
No.
even. I think it's even more relevant because we charge a bit more than.
I think it's totally relevant. I was about to say, I think it's just diabolical.
100%. 100%. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but over the last 2 weeks, I've had 4 part 2 passes. Right? And
hang on, that can't be true.
Well, it is.
You can't get 4 part 2 test dates, never mind passes.
Oh, well, I've waited about 4 months to get these 4 all in the same in 7 days of each other, but over 2 weeks. And every one of them came from a national driving school to me for some rescue work. Every one of them. And the stuff you were saying, common comments.
I think it's us, whoever it is we're dealing with, whoever it is in our car, if we treat them that. But sometimes you think, why didn't you leave earlier?
I
said, I'm sorry I was late. Oh my God. How much can you go on about it?
How long is it short?
Quite a lot more.
I think there are times when we genuinely get frightened, and I've been genuinely frightened in the car a couple of times, and little words have slipped out my mouth. Usually lots of little words.
It's when something slips out of somewhere else we've really got to worry.
But I think, even in that situation, you can pull over and you can talk through it quite sensibly, because it brings the emotions into what we're trying to do, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
In a very raw, earthy way.
Yeah. The thing is, you can have the reaction, but then you literally have to say afterwards, I'm so sorry. I know that was out of order. The emotion took over. And it's that explanation that helps alleviate the problem. And it's that honesty. I'm sorry. I know I made a noise or a gesture, or I said an expletive or whatever it was, but it's what happens after that makes the difference, I think. And if you have the opinion that, I don't know why people would do that to another human being that just doesn't know as much as us, just because we've got doesn't make us special.
I think sometimes it might be a bit of self-awareness, you don't think you're shouting, you don't think you're being downright rude, But you just say it, you don't realise sometimes. Another person can take it like, why are you shouting at me? Oh, I didn't realise I was. All right.
I don't know why that one actually amuses me.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have you been talking with a partner and or someone quite close, and they say, why are you shouting? I'm not. Right, so it could be they don't realise, maybe they don't realise the shouting
Well,
or
therein
coming
lies
across as an arsehole.
well, therein lies the person's perception. It doesn't matter what you think you're saying or doing, it's how someone perceives it. That's the truth of it. It doesn't matter. If someone feels like I'm shouting, that's it. And then we need the conversation to clarify things. So the shouting thing, PDIs, just hunt Terry down and Ian down. And anyone else of the lovely squishy people who are out there. It's horrible. And I don't think it's okay. I really don't. I'm very uncomfortable with it and I don't know where to go because I can't change anything. And it's just horrible that people don't have that support. And I get contacted. I've had 3 contacts today where people are saying, can you help me out, please? Because and it's just sad. So yeah, the shouty thing.
That'll cost you.
Sorry?
That'll cost you shouting.
Well, yeah, you can't keep them if that's your thing. But it's surprising how many people still have a full workload. Who else knows that there have been people out there teaching for donkey's years who used to, and sometimes they're not around anymore, but used to do the, with a ruler.
Oh, it's not what I thought you were going to say.
What were you
I
going to
stopped doing that ages ago.
What, hitting
Like
people with
last
a ruler?
week, I finished doing that.
Do change gear, don't change gear. When I was new to the job 20 years ago, I know there was someone who said, well, I don't do it anymore, but I used to. Helps them learn.
Just like the cane helps kids behave.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that an anagram of abuse? Helps them learn? No.
Close. What else is on your list, young lady?
Right, here's one. Some people come to go to other instructors because their instructor is on the phone. I am assuming that ADIs and PDIs are making genuine mistakes sometimes, and they've forgotten that bit. I don't think we mentioned that last time, did we?
No.
If anyone is unsure when you're teaching, when you're getting paid, or even as a family member, if you are with someone and you are the supervising driver, you must not touch your mobile phone, which includes programming it for sat-nav. Engine off, keys out on top of the dash. Needs to be how it is. I meet too many people on courses for picking up the phone and putting it back in the cradle. It is really serious. I've known a lot of ADIs and they get their 6 points and at least £200 fine, and they try and what is it? No, you don't contest it with the DVSA when they strike them off. There's no point. Just don't even bother. Your license is gone. You do not teach anymore. Come on, bouncy Ian.
Well, what about keyless cars? How do people sit in keyless cars?
Oh, keyless cars. I thought you said dealers' cars. Oh,
no, keyless. Sorry, it's my accent. I'm from up north, Denose.
With the windows open, waiting for the package to get through.
I thought you said Dave's car.
Yeah. Keyless cars. I have in mine, because I do have keyless also, I have sat in the passenger seat on purpose. And I've also sat with the door open, obviously not on a road, So don't even, but it shows my intention that I'm not about to drive because I've got the door open. Have you got any thoughts about what to do with the keyless?
I think it's a tricky one.
Yeah.
My limited understanding of it is you have to perform another action before the car can move. But if it's keyless, so that would be switching it on. That would be pushing the go switch.
Right.
So as long as it isn't illuminated.
Maybe you could also put something in front of the driver's view of the car completely, like block it. I don't know. You need to make it very clear that you're not about to drive.
Yeah. But I mean, all mobile phones you can schedule to turn or go silent when the car's moving, as I understand it. So surely there's no temptation to answer it if it's not ringing at you.
Well, I think it's they're actively doing this sort of thing.
It's surprising. See it once you start looking for it, you see it all over.
It's a shame. Like I said, sometimes I know for a fact that people genuinely do not realize something. So if that's you out there, please just hear us. Please don't touch your phone when you're in the car with your drivers at all. Not to answer a quick text or book a next lesson or let them know you'll be late. Nothing. Get out. But I've certainly heard people say they've changed. People have told me they've changed because, and it's a shame. It's a shame. You said about manual to auto, Terry, about binning them last week and how you used to do that all the time.
I've done it once. Or was it twice?
3 times.
Years, and I tell you when it was back when it was still 1900 and something was the year. That's how long ago it was.
Yeah.
That was one of the major schools at the time. That's how I know.
Yeah. Now then, sometimes our pupils bin us when we cancel them. Agreed? I don't know. Just going through my list, it sounds like I'm the one who knows everything. It's just I'm the one who did some preparation.
What else is new? Just how the world is. Look, look, I'm the one who's late. You're the one who does any preparation at all out of any of us. And Ian's
Ian's here.
And Ian's
Hey, Ian,
hello.
Stick your arm out. It's the number 304. Ready?
I'm ready. I might be able to jump on this one.
Tell me what's going on when the ADI cancels the learner and the learner gets frustrated. So what's happening there in your opinion?
Well, in my opinion, I can tell you what's not happening there, which is good communication.
Yep.
Text messaging isn't a good way of doing it. If you're going to cancel, you really should give them a ring. If you're capable of giving them a ring. I mean, it's very difficult under some situations to ring and say, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cancel your lesson today. My hamster's just died. And I've got to bury him within 24 hours. Or whatever. But if it is, I don't want to be in your brain. I really don't want to explore that one with me. But pipe cleaners came to mind, and that's shocking enough.
Well, you'd want something to be able to.
I hope we're not still talking about pipe cleaners. But I think you
So you're saying an ADI cancels once, but why, Terry?
Hmm?
Why would an ADI cancel regularly? Or PDI,
What?
a driver trainer. Why would a driver trainer cancel regularly?
Why?
Hmm.
Well, many reasons there, young Fiona. One maybe they're just disorganized.
I don't
One
like
may,
this accent.
huh?
Can you do the Welsh one again? I
I
don't.
do Welsh. I don't know any of them anyway, but
I thought
definitely
you
can't
always
do
do a
Welsh.
Welsh one.
No,
Yeah.
I can't do Welsh. No, no, I can't do Welsh.
Well,
you're right.
What's the question? It's a question. I've forgotten the question.
why do ADIs, PDIs, driver
Oh,
trainers
oh
cancel?
yeah. So just disorganized. They could have some issues in their personal life going on that they need to kind of make late arrangements for. Um, they may have messed up the booking and double booked someone and didn't realise. That's disorganized, same category. All right, fair enough. Um,
Some of them do it regularly. That's
or
what.
yeah, or it could be they don't enjoy the lesson.
The driver trainer does not enjoy the
Doesn't
lesson.
enjoy doing the session, so it's the slightest excuse. Oh, I can't do it. Maybe they don't like the job.
I think sometimes people overbook so that when they get a cancellation, they still earn the money. I think there's quite a few reasons why. There's the regular cancellation from the trainer, and that's why I've heard people going to other instructors or me, whatever, because the driver trainer was cancelling them a lot. So
You never found out why?
I've never really liked to ask. Oh,
Speaking of asking,
come on, Miss
Oh,
Vicky.
nice link, Tel. Nice
so I'll
link.
tell you what,
Slick.
that's me. My middle name is Slick. Ah,
I'm sticking my
Vicky,
neck on the line.
whenever you're ready, Vicky, go, Vicky, whenever you're ready. I'll be quiet I'll be quiet now, so you can start whenever you want.
Bit anxious about talking about this one because I feel like I didn't handle it well. A couple of weeks ago, well, but I don't know, a few weeks ago, I was unwell, had to cancel a lesson. I'm afraid, Ian, I did message. It was a migraine, so I literally messaged, went home, got into bed. Pupil was perfectly reasonable. And then she had booked 2 lessons for last week, and I had been asking her, she'd paid up front for one and partly paid for the second, and I was sending a reminder that she needed to pay the rest and was getting no replies. And so I was getting a little bit frustrated because I was getting no replies. And eventually I got a reply about a day before the first of the 2 lessons, and she'd broken her phone. That's why she couldn't reply to the messages, and she was now unwell, and so she needed to cancel the lesson the day after. I recognise now that I did reply too quickly, so didn't really fully think through everything that I've said, but I still don't know that I would have said anything differently. I don't know, but I did point out to her that the fee would be lost because it was within the 48-hour cancellation period as per the terms and conditions. And to say it went from 0 to 100 in no time is an understatement. And basically in the next message it was, that's not fair, you cancelled on me and that was fine, and now I'm cancelling on you, so that's not a fair agreement. If it's going to be like that, I'll find another instructor. And I then asked her what a reasonable resolution was to meet both of our needs, and there was no conversation to be had. So I'm really interested to sort of hear your thoughts in terms of that sort of like reasonableness between an instructor cancelling and a pupil cancelling, if you see where I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. And I think sometimes you can't deal with it when that situation has happened. That's almost immovable. But what we can do is kind of discuss some preempting things and some other situations. So if I explain what I eventually did, and it isn't like you should do it this way and you've done it, I think these things happen. The relationship falls apart sometimes. One of the reasons is it's text to text to text to text. And the written word does not convey any kind of emotion or apology. It holds nothing. So if I sent to Terry a message saying, "Why didn't you come?" He might read it like that. "Why didn't you come?" I might be saying, "Why didn't you come? Weren't you early? Why weren't you early?" Or, "Why weren't you early? Is there something wrong?" It's all in the interpretation. So when there's that, when it's done via text message, it is so open to miscommunication. If anyone's had any dealings with me lately, how often do I leave voice messages rather than?
You do.
And how different can it be?
Yeah, very, because you can read in stuff that possibly isn't there. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on kind of like sticking to your terms and conditions, if you're with me. I mean, what I've done subsequently, because I've had a fortnight of quite a few issues, which is, I said to you in my message the other day, it's very unusual that I come against this, but I've brought in like a tiered system now, which I'd never done before. So I'm interested to see how that will roll out. But retrospectively, I'm interested to know your thoughts on, the comeback of, these are my terms and conditions that you agreed to when we first, because I think as an industry we're in a bit of a sticky situation because we're service providers, and usually when people go to have a service, they receive the service and then they pay for it, which is different than a pre-booking for a holiday or a concert. So I think we are different, and so it can come across very cold.
We'll go into it. Keith?
Yeah, just a couple of things. I think the first thing is that you were saying about texting people. When I've had people phone me, I can't do the lessons, and I've phoned up another driving instructor to say, "Oh, I've got a pupil you can have." "Oh yeah, I'll text them later on tonight." And you think, well, that's not the way to go. As Fiona says, talking to someone is a lot better, and you get to know them that way by talking to them rather than just text them. And as you say, at the end of the day, a text, they just turn around and say, "I'll stuff you, I'll go somewhere else." It's easy as that.
Agree. That is something for all of us to make a mental note of.
I think the other thing with regards to, yes, we've got these contracts of 48 hours, blah, 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 but I think sometimes you've got to look at the situation. Is it going to make you broke? Are you going to lose them because you've pushed out 48 hours? Given that maybe given one kind of thing, say, okay, this time we'll leave it at that, but next time obviously if you do cancel late, you will have to pay.
Yeah, and these are all part of the things that we were going to bring out. Exactly, Keith. You're right. And there's no bullying you, Ms. Vicky Fish. Okay, this is, like you said, you started off saying I maybe didn't, but you weren't well. We can't be perfect. We're not. There's no intention of us being perfect. But I agree.
Because I know, as I say, I know I've got pupils that have cancelled me, but I know I'm going to get that back later on in the year.
Absolutely.
Kind of thing.
Thanks, Keith. Terry?
Something Keith said, like, I don't think, well, depends on the relationship. Keith said something like, oh, you're going to charge me to go somewhere else then? I think if the relationship is there in the first place and people are happy with the service you're providing, and the relationship is good and open, I think they go, okay, yeah, you're fair enough. So I don't necessarily think it means, sod you, I'll go somewhere else.
No.
And to be honest, if someone's going to do that, then good riddance.
I think it just depends on what you've said in the text, as you say, as Vicky said.
Yeah.
You went sick. I'm going sick. Blah blah blah. That's it. It just depends. Again, it's just about talking to someone rather than texting them, I find.
Yeah. And this should be part of the contracting at the beginning. Explaining if in the T's and C's it says whatever 48 to 24 hours. And explain how it affects you and affects your business and blah blah blah, so they understand from the beginning. But then, I mean, none of us can tell any of you, or the other person watching, how to run your business. But can only speak what I used to do. God, I wish I bunked off English that day.
You're better when you do your accents.
I know, that's why I keep doing them. It hides my poor England talking. The way I used to do it with learners, and you rarely get it with PDIs. I'm lucky with that way, I guess. First time, let you off, I'd put on a little bit, I had to go all the way to that lesson now because I due that lesson, a new lesson, you booked after them, I come half an hour to these 2 lessons, you've cancelled, it's not worthwhile going for that lesson now, so I would have cancelled that one. I'll let I'll let it go this time, like you said, but you have to understand that it really does affect my day and my planning for my day, and people cancel. So if it does happen again, people will be charged, and they understand that. But I think it's also again about the relationship. The ones who are genuine, or you should know the ones who are genuine and who aren't. And if they're genuine, I might even let them off twice, And also, I didn't like to charge someone who I genuinely felt were ill, not hungover, ill. Because in my head, it's like, why should I penalize them for making the right decision about getting behind the wheel? So that I used to let that go. And you know the ones you can trust. You know the ones who you go, are you drunk or is it? Oh, you're actually ill. So those are the ones you might go, okay, let off this time, next time. But there are those genuine ones who might just be ill twice. I'm not going to penalise them for making the right decision.
I hear what you're saying.
I hope so, because my mic's on.
Well, sometimes I just ignore you.
Sometimes.
I think the hardest thing there, though, and I completely agree with the principles, I think it's that when they're not the only one that week. So that particular week, she'd booked 2 lessons. I'd also had another one who'd booked a lesson, hadn't paid, was ghosting messages. And I'm hearing loud and clear the message about phoning people. But it's that, right, now I'm in a situation where I'm losing £220, which is then a hard hit.
It is.
Go on, Terry, hit me with it.
You're not losing 220 quid, Vicky. It's like Keith said, okay. You're just getting it later than you would have got it.
I get it, but when you need it this week and not in, I mean, going back to the lady...
Vicky, stop going to a concert every night.
I might be going to the theatre on Saturday, but but I think, this lady was she was an interesting character, and we had, I think this is what shocked me most, was we had a really good relationship in the car, and I'm I'm thinking that, you know, it was the escalation of she'd had some issues going on. She's then broken her phone. She's then become sick. And I was clearly, retrospectively, the straw that broke the camel's back, but I wasn't to know that at that time. Yeah. So it was a massive, dare I say it, overreaction from her that possibly wouldn't have come at another time. Yeah. You know, so you know, she was loving her lesson, she was making good progress, yeah. But it was just that week, that sequence of events had triggered that response, yeah. Which I wasn't to know. But then it was the point of no return quite quickly. And like I said, you know, I rarely have these issues, but I'm just interested to hear sort of like what I can do differently when that does happen again. And I've often said about the sick bit, about why are we penalising people for being sick because it's not their fault, and we want them to make good decisions. But I've also got to think about, I'm the main breadwinner in my house. So if I lose £220 that week, my bills that, you know, my food bill or whatever is then.
Yeah, no, I hear
anyway, you know what I'm saying.
I think all we can do is discuss the hypotheticals. It's all we can do is discuss the hypotheticals. So we've heard a bit from Terry. I don't know who he's laughing at.
I'm laughing at Vicky. I like how she put the food bill in front of the Ticketmaster bill.
Right. Ticketmaster, the theatre she paid for a couple of months ago. Anyway, right. Because some people discuss the T's and C's and the cancellation things before people get in the car, and I never did that. My bad. I never really had a massive problem with people cancelling, and I don't know if it was luck. I don't know what was going on there, and it could be just luck, and I did have it. The thing is, I didn't say anything. I'd let people cancel. I said nothing. There was no reply, but thanks for letting me know as the text message. I just accepted it. It did one of two things. It, first of all, helped me not react in a way. So sometimes I'm glad when it wasn't on the phone, because the emotional reaction, we can't help it, especially when we're worried about money. So that emotional reaction, and it's why I sometimes reply on Facebook to things and then delete it. And then reply in a much calmer way, or not reply at all, because it's not going to help anyone. So when they cancelled, they'd get in the car the next week, and then at the end of the lesson, I would say, I know you cancelled the other week, last week, whatever. I just need to let you know something. I can't replace the money when you cancel that way. I can't do anything about it. Please let me know as early as you can, and try not to do it because, and and I do it just before they get out, so they don't have to feel uncomfortable. They don't have to justify. And it kind of, I think that's one of the things that really helped. Sorry, this is your T's and C's. I didn't push that in anyone's face. And I don't know. There's part of me that thinks maybe that helped. I don't know. But it was, they could get out the car. No one was uncomfortable. I didn't say when they got in. Or I may have done once or twice and then realised that was uncomfortable, because they're just sitting on the fact that they cancelled and I didn't have the money. Do you see what I mean? So, but I did say something, and it's kind of hard, and it's harder to say it out loud to someone rather than just write it down. And I think it's that discomfort of talking about money. It's a horrible thing, because, you know, it's just a horrible thing. Anyone else got any thoughts on that? Ian, you haven't spoken. Are you still alive?
Only from the neck down. I think at the end of the day, you got to be true to yourself. You've got to treat them the way you would want to be treated in that situation. And if you do that, yeah, it might cost you a few quid. you're being true to yourself and you'll sleep that night.
Yeah. I don't
Sorry,
know. Like
it's a bit naff, but you know, you weigh everything up, you make the decision, and you apply the decision maker.
But
Yeah, you've got the powers of the T's and C's to back you up if they're aware that you can levy your charge.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's not something that happens to me a lot, and certainly the pupils I've got at the moment, the money's in my bank account before they tell me they've cancelled.
Right.
Which is a nice position to be in. And then the next lesson, they tell you, oh, the bus was late, so I couldn't do my lesson. And it's like, well, you're not paying for this lesson then, because that's circumstances beyond your control type thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think you've got to be true to yourself. The important thing is to have something written down that you can refer back to if you need to, if that's the way you want to.
I also like the deal. I've done that a few times. If someone would just kept doing it, like you said, Terry, they go out and you know they're hanging, and that's why they're not coming, because they know they're hungover and they're being sensible. And sometimes I'd go halves on it. I'd say, okay, how about we split it? Give me half the money. But I still, when Terry, you brought that up, I was just remembering there were quite a few times I'd say, thanks for letting me know. Thanks for not putting any of us at risk. And again, they're not ill, but don't do this. And you will be paying the next time. Do you see what I mean? You know, but the ill and the drink thing. We're getting overly focused on this, but I think this is a really important issue. Does anyone else? I think it's really hard. It's really hard because it is that worrying thing. I can put this in a context of not learners. I do other work for somebody, and there have been some cancellations, and I had the same thing happening, and I had to end the conversation because I was talking to someone. I'm trying to be careful about how I phrase it, but I had to get off the conversation because I don't think I could keep the worry or the concern about, or there was a couple of other frustrations out of my voice. And I just said to the person, I have to end the conversation because I can't keep the emotion out of it. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's the thing. Can we talk about this later? I need to get off the phone because my circumstances are causing me to have an emotional reaction, and that isn't going to be very good for our conversation. I'll speak to you soon. Bit like deleting the message. Does anyone want to carry on with this rather sad, pressure-filled, emotion bringing up thing, or should we move on to another? Shall I just throw a bus at Terry or?
Oh, I'd love to hear more about the contracting. That's not including the terms and conditions, which you were talking about the other day.
The contracting.
First lesson. Yeah. What's the chat?
Well, is that going to be what we do next session, Terry? Is that part of it?
Did we not go through it last one? Was it only recording?
Terry, Vicky, did you watch the recording of the other one?
I watched most of it, but I know you said earlier that you'd come back to it, so I'm just checking.
Oh shit, remember
that. If you think you covered it, I'll go back to the other week.
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember what I said, Vicky.
He doesn't remember. It's a good job. It's a good job things are written down for you sometimes. Like, you know, which end of your clothes is the back?
It's the back?
Yeah, it's the bit with less egg down it.
You've not seen me eat the eggs down both sides. Contracting. We've got time to go through it quickly.
Well, you guys are the ones with the commitments. It's 56, 58, 54, something.
54. Right, contracting. Which is the way I did it. I don't know how everyone else does it. Actually, you know, it's going to take long because
It's going to take too long.
Yeah, We'll do it next time.
I think it's part of the motivation thing.
Yeah. And you know what? No, we'll talk about it privately, us three. Yeah, we'll do it next time, Vicky.
Yeah.
It won't take too long.
So there's the prepaid thing. There's that thing going on. I'm just reading out my list of the things that I came up with. Some people leave because their instructors are too shouty, too quiet, too rigid, and say, "Oh, I'll just drive." So too apathetic, too not really interested. Yeah, just drive a bit. We'll work out what you do later. So if we've got those kind of attitudes, oh, go on, Keith.
I was just going to say, to help Vicky very quickly, Terry, about the contract, I just put something, I can't remember what I've written, but I can just put something like, all driving instructors are self-employed. The only money we get coming in is from you people. So please
That's T's and
think about
C's, Keith. Yeah, that's not the contracting thing. That's T's and C's. Terms and conditions.
Oh, right, sorry.
That's all right. It's just those definitions. But then, because otherwise you give us a lovely explanation.
Yeah.
A wonderful explanation. And if I don't cut over you, then do you know what I mean? But it's brilliant that you're saying it. But that's more the terms and conditions about I'm self-employed. So that's the justifying the cancellation policy. So that's more. But the contracting is something completely different. And I think we might need to go bigger into detail on that. Ian, Terry, what do you think?
I think it fits nicely into what we talked about for next lesson, you know.
I think so.
I think it fits in quite nicely with that, so it'll go together with the next one, I think. Yeah. Why don't you contract the motivation?
Why do you encourage him, Fiona?
Well,
he's better when he does his accent.
He doesn't, yes, but I said the Welsh accent, which is the one I said that usually does, and he usually just tries to copy yours. I was suggesting it was Welsh that he was doing, which was really insulting, except it went because I didn't. Anyway.
Why don't you motivate the contract next time?
Do you want me to write that down as the title?
No, it's an idea.
An idea or a thought?
Motivation and contracting and
anyway, I'm just gonna sometimes the lessons are too rigid. I knew someone who used to tell me, but I know Fiona, all your wishy-washy coaching staff, I know what my driver is doing on lesson 9. Hour 9, I mean. Right, too rigid. Don't be rigid with your people. And don't be apathetic. Just drive.
Apathetic mean?
Pardon?
What does apathetic mean?
Yeah, just go for a drive. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
It's not putting effort in.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And sometimes it's not thinking about people's preferences. So sometimes people really need to know what they're doing. It does not fit their person to not know where their session is going, what's expected of them, where they're going to end up, kind of thing. You know, so that just drive thing really can make people uncomfortable. And if you hate a briefing, who hates sitting there for a long briefing? Who used to sit through long briefings? Who didn't change their instructor because I thought that was the way it had to be? The pick up and the drop off. Sometimes they've been because they've been us. So they don't want to be with us. Hang on. Yeah. Picking off and dropping off and picking up. I once had someone who said, yeah, you can pick me up from, and it was somewhere like 20 miles away. I was like, oh, you know, I'll drop you off and I'll do my best, but you need to let me know as early as I can but sometimes, you know, those convenient things, sometimes people insist on, I'll only pick you up from where I drop you off or whatever. Do you see what I mean? Does anyone know what I mean? I'm just trying to go through my list. Personal boundaries. Has anyone ever had a driver come to you because the ADI is sitting like this, with the arm behind the...
Self-awareness, isn't it?
Self-awareness. Personal boundaries. Or sometimes ADIs sit quite close and leany. Sometimes I do the staring thing, which I must admit, I find that uncomfortable. You know, when people sit properly. I know you're supposed to do that, but it is a little bit, it's a little bit, it's like, right. That's, I think, my list done. I did quite a long list.
What's a long one, wasn't it?
And it meant that only I was talking, which is
Such a relief.
Well, that's the way you get more sense.
at least I don't attempt accents.
Right, in. What are we doing? We finished here? We're wrapping it up.
Yeah. Right. Thank you, viewer. Thank you, Eva.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Keith.
You.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Fiona. No, thank you, Fiona.
Keith. Thank
And-
you, Eva.
And Vicky and Keith and Eva and everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank you,
you,
viewer.
Vicky.
You can't
And
say
now
everybody.
we teach
Can't
the
say
world
everybody.
to sing in perfect harmony.
I love the mute button.
Is that too much cool?
I do. I am going to push it. Thank you, viewer. The next one was whatever date I said. 6 p.m. on Monday, the 9th of next month, February. I will put the link out nice and early so people can put it in their diaries, keep the link or whatever. And you can see it on my YouTube channel if you missed this one or if you missed the other one. Thank you, everybody. So come on. Haven't done it for ages. Strike a pose. Ah!